This is Ignorance is Bliss. I'm Lisa.
I'm Hodan.
I'm Farah.
Today we're talking about women and self-deprecation. So girls, in preparation for this, I asked you guys to reflect about the last time you were given a compliment and how you reacted. So Farah.
Okay, so when you first suggested this topic, I'm going to be honest, I kind of had to do a lot of research, only because I don't think I self-deprecate a lot.
Okay.
So when you said, okay, reflect on a compliment, I think it really depends on how I feel.
Yeah.
So for example, if I've just got my hair done and someone's commented on my hair, I'm going to take that compliment.
Yeah.
But if I'm having a bad day with my skin and you comment on my skin now, or you compliment my skin, then I'm probably going to reject that compliment.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how I feel.
Yeah. And as your friend, I'm going to say that you self-deprecate a lot.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Who do you think more
Especially
self-deprecates, me or Hodan? Because I thought about this. I thought about the friendship group, and I thought, okay, I don't think Lisa self-deprecates as much as
Lisa
you.
is very conscious, I think, of self-deprecating. So I think you catch yourself, or you catch others. You know, you'll say, "Don't do it."
That's true. That's true.
I think you self-deprecate a lot in terms of, like, if somebody gives you a compliment about your appearance.
But be
tend
specific. Be specific. Is
So-
it my skin?
Yeah, your skin.
Yeah, because I'm having issues with my skin at the moment, so I'm not going to accept that compliment.
Yeah. So I thought about this as well. I definitely do make comments,
Yeah.
obviously self-deprecating ones, in good nature, I think. I thought about this, and I don't really take compliments very well. There's always a qualifying statement. Rarely will I say thank you and move on. It'll always be thank you, but this whole thing, talking about, I was thinking about why, and I think it's because generally, not with you guys, because you guys know me really well, but when I don't know people, I'm quite a shy person. I'm not very outgoing or out there, and I think when you make a compliment, or give me a compliment in front of a group of people, it forces a group of people to look at me, and I don't really like that, so I feel like I have to be like, no. But it's more, I don't like the eyes on me, so it's not the compliment necessarily, it's like the compliment's now given license for a group of people to look over my way, and I think that's what makes me uncomfortable.
And it's drawn attention to you.
It's drawn attention to me.
that you don't particularly want.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's commented your hair or your skin or your makeup,
like,
whatever it is,
your hair looks
then
nice.
You know, or you feel as if people are looking at you, and you're thinking, not everybody might feel the same about what that person is.
It just forces me to have to say something out loud in a group of people, and I can be quite awkward.
Yeah.
I can be quite awkward.
I think that's a very British thing, though.
Yeah.
So I don't think we like to blow our own trumpets.
Yeah.
But why is it blowing your own trumpet?
I don't think it is. So
nice.
Let me give you an example. At work, if someone says, and often people do say nice trousers.
Yeah.
Like people will say to you nice blouse.
Yeah.
People will say to you nice skirt or nice dress.
Yeah.
With me, it's trousers.
Yeah.
So I always take the compliment if it's for my trousers.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool, thank you.
Is it because that's the same thing?
I would often give them the compliment back.
But is it authentic? Is that authentic? Oh, that's interesting. What do you think about? So when you give that compliment back, is that authentic?
I try to be authentic.
Okay.
I say often. I won't always give the compliment.
Yeah.
Like if they're looking a bit rough, then I might not give the compliment. But if someone comments on my trousers and says something nice, then I think I might say something back. Most likely I would.
Okay. So when you give someone a compliment, you're being authentic all the time.
Most of the time, like if I'm complimenting your blouse, and I often do, I'm being authentic because I love the blouse. Same with dresses. Yeah. Honestly. But if someone gives me a compliment, now that I'm thinking about it, if someone gives me a compliment, out of politeness, I might give them
it back.
Yeah, I might give them a compliment. Yeah, but
That's interesting.
But it's also authentic, because if they look, if they're not looking great, then I might not give them a compliment.
So, but the reason I asked that question is, if you are given compliments and you're being authentic, why is it that you're not accepting when other people are giving you a compliment back?
Because I don't feel like that inside. If it's based on something specific, like I mentioned earlier with my skin, I'm not happy with my skin at the moment, so don't compliment my skin.
Right.
Because I don't feel like that.
So you're saying the compliment and your ability to take it or not depends on how you feel about yourself.
Feeling,
So you're basically overarching authority on whether or not that compliment should be taken or not.
It's
if you
true.
feel like your hair's looking great that day, you're like, great. And if you feel like,
I might be like, no, I haven't even done my hair this morning. What are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas I probably should just take the compliment and leave it as that.
Yeah.
How do you think you take compliments, by the way?
Yeah, I try to say thank you as much as I can, and I've trained myself to do that, because I remember when I was younger, And I remember particularly in school, there was this girl that everybody thought was pretty, gorgeous, and people used to say to her, "Oh my gosh, you're so pretty," and she used to always be like, "Oh my gosh, no, I'm not." And I remember being annoyed when telling her she's pretty, and then she's been like, "No, I'm not." And I thought back then, my youngest, obviously I've reflected on that since, but back then I'm thinking, why are you not taking the compliment? Do you want us to give you more compliments?
So fishing.
So what? So for me, since then, I've tried to, and that's from a very young age. I'm talking like 13, 14 years old. And since then, I've been thinking, okay, because that annoyed me, that she didn't just say thanks. I'm just going to try and, if someone gives me a compliment, say thanks. But I know that that can also be perceived as arrogant.
Which is crazy,
right?
Because unless you say, I know.
But even if you
thank
say
you is not I know.
That's true. Even if you say I know.
But I'm saying,
that's it,
I'm saying there's a greater case for somebody who says I know all the time. At least like there might be somebody who can see it that way. But thank you is in a completely different, in a different league. But I disagree with you guys though on the I know. It depends on what it is. But if I'm like, oh, you're pretty, and you say I know, I think that's a bit strange.
But if it's like an item of clothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It
because
depends
you
on
think
the
it looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
right, yeah, exactly. But I don't know, I think maybe I don't know, I think if somebody's, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no,
if someone, if I
know
say
what
to somebody,
you're saying.
you're a gorgeous girl, whatever, and they say, I know, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'd move on, I wouldn't think much of it, but in my heart, I'd be thinking, okay, that's a level of confidence I wasn't prepared for, but in a good way. I just think, I also would think, they must not care very much about what people think about them because generally people will think you're arrogant if you say
it's crazy that we should think people are arrogant even though we've given them a compliment and then they've accepted it and you're like, oh.
You're not
so
humble.
It's like we're almost expecting we're giving people compliments for them to say something to rebut that compliment or to give us a compliment
when
back.
They don't.
But again guys, I think this is a very British thing. Because if I give my family compliments like we're Pakistani, they will accept the compliment and that's that. I think it's a very British thing.
British reserve.
Like we don't want to accept the compliment, we'll have to say something negative about ourselves.
I also think it's largely unconscious. Like I don't think people sit there and think, oh, I don't want to accept the compliment, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
I think it literally is just the way we've learned to respond to things. To respond to things. And as far as the whole authentic thing, you said sometimes when someone gives you a compliment, you'll butt back and give them a compliment. Do you think sometimes people use compliments inauthentically but coming from the right place as a bonding experience? You know, like you think, oh, I really like that girl, I really want to be friends with her or something, I don't know. And then you give a compliment to kind of start a bonding experience.
I don't like
you too.
I don't like it when people give compliments for no reason. I know that sounds crazy, but I'll give you an example. I have a friend that always gives compliments on a daily basis, and I know she's not being authentic because she will give every single person a compliment. So for me, I'm like, okay, there's no value now to that compliment. So with me, yes, I do compliment people, but honestly it is authentic. Otherwise it has no value.
I mean, I find it very easy to compliment people if there's something I like. I mean, I won't say it all the time, it depends on does the situation call for it, you know.
I try and give people compliments for things I think they would like to receive a compliment for. They were like that day when I told you your skin looks better is because the previous day I knew you were feeling insecure about your skin. So the next day I thought, okay, I'm gonna. But then immediately after I said it, I wish I never said anything, just because I know then it drew attention to it, which you didn't want attention to be drawn to it. So do you know what I mean? But
it wasn't like for me it wasn't that deep. Like I didn't.
For me, it's that deep, mate.
For you, it's so deep. It's very deep. For me, it's honestly not that deep.
What's that deep? What do you mean?
As in, when I said to you, your skin looks better, and then you were like, no, it's not. I felt bad. I was like, why did I say that?
But I did,
But I think you're a very, very intuitive person. And I think you care a lot about what you say to people. And I think you also demand that back. Not demand that, hope for that back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you do.
So I think that, you would. That's a great thing. But that's because you're very aware and empathetic. Whereas somebody else who's really careless would just be like, all right, then she was a bit over the top about that and move on.
That's
whereas
kind of
that actually saddened you.
And
to be honest, I might go between the two. I might be like, ooh. And on other days, I'd be like, calm down. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all, actually.
Like, what about when you get a compliment for your competency? So maybe at work or something that you've done, maybe you've organised a party or you organised, and somebody compliments you on that, are you more likely to take the compliment?
I prefer that sort of compliment, if I'm being honest, over physical appearance.
I agree.
I prefer that compliment. But again, I don't know if I would be like, okay, thank you. Do you know what I mean? I think I'd say, for that, I don't know, because it's related to work, I think I might say a qualifying statement as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
it didn't take me that long to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's taken me 5 hours. And I'm like, oh, it was nothing.
Or even, it wasn't that great.
Thing.
Yeah.
I do from the reading that I've done, is that sometimes people, especially women, if you give them a compliment, even if it's nothing to do with their appearance and it's like the work they've done or something else, they're like, oh yeah, I've got such a great team.
Yeah.
Even though they're working on their own.
Yes.
See, I'm more likely to say something like that.
Do you know what I think that comes from? I think it comes from wanting to appear humble and modest sometimes.
Because we value that in
society.
Because
we value that in a person, and you don't want to be seen to be a showboater or somebody who's really arrogant or a know-it-all. So I think a lot of the time it's like feigned modesty and humbleness.
Yeah.
It's like impression management. Which sounds really inauthentic, because it's like we don't sit there and think, oh, I'm going to manage the impression here. But I think it happens. I think it's impression management. We use scripts. The language you use is a script sometimes. We use props, whether it's the way that we're dressed or whatever. There's a lot of different things we use in order to manage the impression people have of us.
But women tend to do that more than
way
men.
More.
Yeah. There's a linguistic expert called Dr. Baxter, and she done a study over 18 months, and she looked at 7 companies, right? Yeah. 2 of these companies were in FTSE 100 companies, and she found that women in the meeting, in the boardroom, tend to use self-deprecating language more so than men, because it makes them feel better to make a joke out of themselves.
Yes.
And a man doesn't really do that.
That's really interesting, because I saw some follow-up research on that, very similar to that said that self-deprecating humour, which is, I think, a little bit different than just saying, oh no, this whole thing. I think basically laughing at yourself. Women tend to do it more than men in meetings and organisations. But actually, men's jokes come over better. People laugh at men's self-deprecating humour more.
And jokes fall flat.
Yeah, fall a little bit more flat, which is really interesting, actually.
That is very interesting. So when women are self-deprecating as a joke, people don't tend to find it as funny as when a man does.
Yes,
absolutely.
And self-deprecating humour generally does better for men than it does for women.
Guys, just moving on. If a student uses self-deprecating language in a lesson, what do you guys do? Do you have any solutions? Because you're hyper aware of it. I'm just thinking about it now. Because I have had students that have used self-deprecating language in the classroom before.
I would really make sure, I think it's a growth mindset, right? So I'd make them aware of that if they weren't already, and speak. I think we do that a lot in education, and really remind them that it's not the right attitude for success. And that we can laugh and joke about it, and actually it's quite good that they're aware of themselves so much that they can kind of laugh at themselves. But as long as that's not biting about themselves, like biting humour. I would
context is important. If they're doing it in a funny way, then that's fine.
That's fine. And also,
but if you're constantly doing it, then there's an issue.
Yeah, I would pull them to the side. I'd see them after the lesson. I'd say, where's that coming from? Probably have a discussion.
And also, if they're minimising an achievement that they had, and it's like, for me, that's dangerous, because what you've done here, you've produced a beautiful piece of work, an amazing piece of work that's actually good, and if they're minimising that, it took me 5 minutes, or I always pull up on that. Especially like in languages, we have vocabulary tests, right? And people get full marks in the vocabulary test, and then I always ask the people that got full marks, what did you do to study for the test? How did you manage to get full marks, so we can help everybody else?
Revised.
I don't like those. I'm like, okay, that's not helpful. Can we have some because that's
But it's also them trying to be cool in school. Like they definitely did. They did revise, but they don't want to say that from their friends.
So,
but I guess lots of positive reinforcement from your side.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe I'll say something like, wow, you're really lucky because you're a minority. You're really lucky to be able to just revise for 5 minutes and do that. What about what
about somebody who puts some work in and is willing to talk about it? Yeah, I agree. Do you guys think that's the same people who can't take compliments are also the same people who tend to self-deprecate? Do you think the two
100%
are quite similar?
So I was thinking of friends that self-deprecate, and they're often the friends that cannot take a compliment. So yes, we do self-deprecate, but I think we do it to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Like we don't do it every single day. I've explained why I do it and when I do it.
Yeah.
You've explained your sort of situation as well, and you've explained why you're hyper aware of it. But I do have friends that do it on a daily basis, and I've only become aware of it because you suggested this topic.
Yeah.
Prior to this, I wasn't aware that they were doing it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I might have to pull them up on that now.
Yeah. But also, sorry,
no, go on.
But also, like, I think sometimes, and I think lots of people don't realise that they're doing this, but I feel like it's rude. For instance, especially with weight.
My friend does it with weight, by the way, all the time with weight.
If you are calling yourself fat, calling yourself or saying something about you that is negative, when clearly there are people in the room that are bigger than you, I think that's rude. And I don't think the person would think they're being rude because they're not even realising.
So you're, again, really hyper aware, and I think you've got great manners generally.
Yes.
So I think that's why you're aware, and I completely agree with you. I think it is rude. If you're saying that you're fat and there are people in the room who are a little bit bigger than you, I think, what are you saying about them then by default? Because you're making them feel awful as well. I definitely wouldn't make a comment like that not that I should be self-deprecating anyway, but I'm very aware of people in the room, and I definitely wouldn't say something that I think other people in the room would also probably struggle with or make me look pathetic. Because if I'm saying, oh, I'm really big, and then there are people who are much bigger than you,
but
I just don't want to be...
What happens if someone genuinely feels like that? Should they keep the thought to themselves then and not express that
there
to
are
their
people,
friends?
No, I think so.
I get what you're saying. For me, it's a thing that shows that just is in your face, and it shows me what people value.
Okay.
And I don't think we should value those things.
Yeah, physical appearance and stuff like that.
I think...
But that's you.
Yeah, that's me personally.
And us, I would say in general.
Yeah.
But obviously other people, they can value what they want.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't care about our appearance. I care about my appearance. I like to look nice. But I think, like, when you're self-deprecating so much, and that it just, for me, it makes me feel sometimes, and it's me being judgmental, but I'm like, that's a little bit shallow then. You care more about people's other qualities than just about what they look like.
Yeah. But is that you pushing your sort of point of view on other people?
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people genuinely feel that way.
So they're just expressing.
And also it's probably not nice to mention it because you probably don't want to bring attention to something negative about yourself to other people. So often I look at it as if that person's said it out loud, this is something they're obviously
insecure
about. So I think sometimes, we've got to remind ourselves to be easy, because I think self-deprecating comes from an insecurity, or just not feeling a bit uneasy with yourself. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying though.
Yeah. I think in certain cases, the thing about weight, I try really, really hard, because everybody struggles with their weight, right? I try really hard not to make comments about that, about myself, and I just generally try not to make comments about, like, I don't like to tell people you've lost weight or you've.
Even to your really close friends.
Nope, I don't like it because. I don't know. That's just personal.
I think this is a language teacher thing.
Maybe.
Honestly.
Because words are powerful, I think you know that.
No, absolutely. I think I'm learning a lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if I see a friend of mine and he or she has lost weight, I'm going to say it straight away.
Yeah. To be fair, I do say
or
it sometimes.
Or they put weight on, actually.
If I know they...
Because we're close friends, so I can be like, oh, okay, you've put on a couple of pounds.
It's
a bit of banter.
Yeah, I would never tell anyone they've put on a couple of pounds unless it's family.
Yeah, family members, maybe.
Family members.
I'm talking like best friends though, guys.
Nah, mate, I'm not doing it.
I'm not.
Oh, wow.
Nope. And I would only say, like, if someone's lost weight, if I know they've been working on it.
Okay.
If I know they've been working on it and it's a goal of theirs
so it's positive reinforcement.
Then I'm like, wow, like to be like, wow, you've done really well, you've lost some weight.
But you probably correct me if I'm wrong. Are you praising the effort, the actual more so than the appearance, the end product?
Yeah.
I guess I am.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm doing.
Okay, wow.
Because you're saying if they've actually put effort in and this is something they're actually working towards, you're kind of saying, well done, great.
It pays off.
Yeah, but it's not a superficial, oh, you look great in that dress, well done for getting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I personally wouldn't. The distinction for that, I think the line for that is drawn at my family, who I know obviously I can say whatever to. But I would never say it to friends, even best friends, where I just wouldn't, unless that person said to me, I'm trying to put on weight. And then I say, oh, you've put on a couple of pounds.
Okay.
But But again, it's if I know they're working on this thing, otherwise I can't.
For me, it definitely depends on the relationship, but I wouldn't hold back.
Yeah.
Because they would say it to me.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends, you know your friendship group, you know what you can say to people. But maybe I will be a bit more hyper aware now.
Well, you know your friends better than anyone else, so you know whether or not. You know.
Secretly, they might be thinking, what are you?
Yeah, I think the weight thing is interesting because obviously I think sometimes what's on people's spirit is what they talk about quite a bit. So obviously we moved to Dubai. Everybody knows that generally speaking in Dubai you put some weight on. I put some weight on.
Dubai stone and all that.
Yeah, and so I might mention things about my weight generally in Dubai, but that's because I found myself looking a little bit different than I did when I moved out here. But I mean, look, it's not the end of the world.
But I think that's just authentic because that's how you feel inside. So you're just expressing how you feel. Yeah.
But then also...
But if you're talking about it, sorry to cut you off there, but if you're saying it constantly to acquaintances, work colleagues, people you don't necessarily talk to, then it's a bit weird.
And it also makes other people feel uncomfortable because they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You put them in a really difficult position there. What are they supposed to say? No, you're not.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, you do look different.
You're right. It's a bit awkward.
And also, I can say that about myself, but then if that person turned around and said, yeah, you have, unless it's a friend, I'd be like, excuse me. Now we're on, it's almost that I can say it about myself, but I don't really appreciate it. Yeah.
And if you're going to say that, genuinely, I really want people to reflect on this. If you are saying something about your weight, you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm so fat right now, or something like that, genuinely, what reaction do you want from people?
Yeah,
like,
and let that guide the comment.
Question.
And let that guide the comment.
Yeah. Because, like you said, if somebody just says, "Yeah, I did notice you've put on a few pounds,"
but that's rude.
Like what I don't know. I'm all for don't ask questions if you don't want.
No, it's true. No, it's a very.
But it's not a question, is it?
Point.
It's just a statement.
It's a statement.
Again,
but if someone was to say something back, you can't really be offended because you've put that statement out.
Yes.
And also, do you want them to say nothing?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying
I personally wouldn't make a comment like that to acquaintances or people people I don't know or people I know very loosely or at work. I wouldn't. That's not the place for it. If I said it to you guys, you can give me input. That's fine. I wouldn't mind it at all. Whatever the input is. But I would if it was somebody else. And let's say I just had a moment of madness and I said it out loud at work or something. And somebody said, I'd just be like, manners, I'd just be like, they've got no manners. I'd walk away thinking she's rude,
but they would never do it.
But I wouldn't walk away thinking she's rude.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna ask you about receiving compliments from men.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
So we've spoken about
Go on.
We've spoken about receiving compliments, and I feel like we've been talking about receiving compliments from other women.
Yes,
right? I feel like that's what we've been talking about. What about if you receive a compliment from a man? What about a man saying, you look nice in that dress, or you look nice today, or something like that?
Okay, you go first.
Okay, that's very interesting because then that's a very different response. I would never put in a qualifying statement. I'd say thank you. Full stop.
I just think it's a bit inappropriate if a man's constantly talking about your physical appearance. Personally,
wait, let's rewind.
Let's just say it's a one-off.
It depends who it is. If it's a friend, then thank you very much.
Okay.
But if it's a stranger off the street,
that's
a bit weird.
It is weird.
So I'm just going to. I'm not going to respond.
So what about a man that you were talking to?
Thank you very much.
Talking to.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Would you
no qualifying statement?
No qualifying statement.
No qualifying statement.
That's interesting.
Because it depends on what you.
Would you prefer then for him to compliment other areas?
I prefer him to compliment my intelligence.
Yeah.
My intelligence. No, I do get that.
100%. I get what you're saying.
Does that sound crazy?
No,
it doesn't sound
crazy. For me, actually, I don't mind. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends.
I think
certain compliments, okay, if you don't know me, that's a bit weird. It depends
on
where the
strangers. Because we're not. My body and myself is not for you to
exactly.
comment on.
That's weird. I'm just going to walk off and not reply.
And that's strange, right?
Yeah.
So the reason I asked that question is because from the reading I've done, the research I've done, apparently women are more likely to accept a compliment if it's from a man.
Oh wow!
Didn't I just verify that?
Yeah,
but I would definitely.
There would absolutely, in no way or form, be a qualifying statement there. I'd say thank you very much.
Yeah.
And that would.
What about you? Do you accept a compliment of a guy?
I just say thank you very much to it.
To
all the compliments I receive.
But I would never say, like I said before, I would never say thank you very much. Or I would never say this old thing, or I just rolled it. I would never give that response to a man ever. I'd be like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go any further.
But that's the other thing as well. Is like if like when we give someone a compliment, are we expecting them to give us one back?
Yeah.
No, I'm not expecting it.
I'm not expecting it.
No. Because it's like a gift, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're giving someone a gift, you don't expect them to give you a gift back.
The thing is that if I give someone a compliment, if they just say thank you very much, I'm being honest now, I'd be a bit like, oh, okay. Like, but only because, like, I want them to give me a bit of context. Like, if I say to you, and you often do give me a bit of context, if I say to you, great dress, Lisa, you might be like, oh yeah, I got this from Satwa, I got it made or whatever. Like, you're going to give me a little bit of context. If you just say thank you very much and nothing, I might be a bit like, okay.
I think it depends on the way you say it, because if somebody gives me a compliment, for instance, and I say it, I'd say, oh, thank you. Yeah, that would be the end of it. But it depends on the tone. Like if I was just like, thank you very much, and I turned around. Then
but would you not often say like another line?
That's the qualifying statement. But I just said I wouldn't do that with men. I wouldn't be like, oh, I got it from H&M, or I wouldn't say anything. I would be like, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Very confidently as well.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because. Why do you think that is? But even I can't explain why I would say thank you very much to a guy and not say it to you.
Sorry, go on.
My theory is because we don't think men are lying about the compliments they give us.
No, see, my theory is if I say to you, lovely blouse, Hayden, you might tell me your qualifying statement might be, oh, I got it from Zara.
Yeah.
Because you know I'm interested in that blouse. You're not going to say to a guy, I got it from Zara, by the way.
Or even if I don't say I got it from Zara, I might be like, oh, I spilled something on it this morning, does it show? Or something about the blouse, I don't know, just something. And I think it's to fill the space, because I'm very uncomfortable with thank you very much, full stop.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person as well, because with females, yes, I might give a qualifying statement if I'm friends with them. If it's just a work colleague or if it's an acquaintance, I might not give a qualifying statement.
But I think if you give a compliment back at that moment, most of the time it's inauthentic because you weren't going to say it before. You've just said it.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, yours and yours too.
Happy birthday, you too.
Happy birthday, you too. Did you know? I wouldn't be surprised.
No, but I disagree with that because I often will give a compliment back because now they've just made me aware, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't notice your earrings today. They look lovely. But because you've complimented me, I'm now like trying to look for something.
But see, you're now trying to look.
But if I don't say anything nice, then I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. That's even worse.
There you go. So if Farah gives you, if you give Farah a compliment and she says nothing back, you look awful that day.
Yeah, that's what we're taking.
No. Most of the time,
do a quick scan.
Quick scan. Okay, nothing there.
Yeah. I think human beings, our nature is to try and appear smaller than we are.
Yeah.
No, see, I think that's a British thing.
I think that's a female thing.
Okay.
No, it's a British thing. It's not a female thing. In Seychelles, if you were to give someone a compliment, would they accept it?
Maybe they would, but it also depends on personality, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely depends on personality. For sure.
Okay, I agree with you in terms of.
It is a British thing. It's
a British thing.
Because based on the research that I've done, it tends to happen in Britain, Ireland, New Zealand, and Australia.
But I feel like Americans do it too.
Americans are so confident. We
Did you see the clip that Hoden sent?
Which clip?
The Amy Schumer clip.
That I sent that clip.
Oh, you sent it. Yeah.
But
that's the whole thing.
We will include that link, by the way. It's a very interesting, funny sketch.
The whole sketch is
self-deprecating.
Is making fun of the fact that women in general, when you give each other a compliment, can't take it. They have to say something negative about themselves straight away.
I agree, but I do think that it tends to be more of a British thing than a North American thing.
So obviously, social media, Instagram. People post photos of themselves. People, obviously, photos that they think are nice of themselves, most of the time. And people are liking and commenting. People aren't then replying going, no, I don't. I look rubbish in this photo. Look, I woke up.
But that would be weird.
Of course. But it should be weird in real life too.
If someone's context is important.
If somebody wrote that under a comment, oh no, I look rubbish, I'd be like, mate, no.
It's like, why would you upload the picture if you think you look rubbish? Right?
Also, why would you say that to the masses? No.
Yeah. But that's why. But I think also it's like if I'm giving you a compliment,
take it.
In real life, verbally, obviously, social media is real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm giving you a compliment right here, right now,
but no,
it's obviously because it's ridiculous for you to come back at me with a.
It's not ridiculous. It's not. I know what you're saying.
I'm going to be mean here, and I don't mean to be mean. So on Instagram, for instance, I've seen girls post pictures, or women post pictures, and I think those pictures are fine. And when I say fine, I don't mean that they're just ordinary pictures. There's nothing that grabs your attention about the scenery behind them. It's them in there every day. And I've seen, like, their friends in their numbers, droves, like, fire, never seen someone more. Sometimes I think, okay, but that sounds really inauthentic because there's nothing in that picture that requires that level of emotion from a comment. And I just think, I know I've read comments like that and been like, you're going overboard.
Do you think that's more of a younger generation thing? Because if I look at my sister's social media, this sounds very much like my sister's.
Flame emojis, and it's like just me in a t-shirt sat on a chair.
I think that's cool. I'm all for it.
Yeah. That positive reinforcement, I think that's a younger generation thing, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I think compliments are a bit of a slippery one, because I think we generally give them quite a lot as women. Yeah. We don't take them as well. I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has definitely made me think about taking a compliment.
And so next time I'll say thank you.
Yeah. Because I would hope that as humans, we are giving compliments that we mean. And that we're not going around just...
And I do.
Do you know what I mean? I think people, when people give you a compliment, they're giving it because most of the time, I think, they're being genuine.
Yeah. True, but you cannot dictate how someone takes a compliment.
You can't dictate it, but of course you can't dictate it. People do what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah? But I think that far too often, women will come back with something and it's like, oh, I'm trying to be nice to you here, and now you're making me feel bad for being nice.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, or some people at least, think that the whole no is a fishing thing, and I have to disagree. I think the vast majority of people do not reject, especially women, compliments because they're fishing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying some people don't,
yeah.
but I'm saying I don't think it's coming from that.
I don't think it's a fishing thing.
Yeah. There might be cases where people are like, oh, they just want to hear something nice, but generally speaking, I think it's got a lot more to do with how we've been socialised.
Yeah.
A lot more to trying to appear modest and humble than it has to do with give me more.
Yeah, exactly.
Because actually, I think often when people give you more compliments, that probably makes you feel even more comfortable, especially if you don't want to be seen.
Yeah, and it's the self-effacing thing. Like, it suddenly draws attention to you, especially if it's around other people, right? Yeah. And it's like, okay, I don't want everybody to look at me, but I really would like to see some comments and reflections about how you take compliments and how other people take compliments. So please let us know.
And also what kind of compliments you prefer to receive. Is it to do with your competency? Maybe to do with your physical appearance? We'd really like to hear from you.